I have invited you, Anna, for conversation about sexual energy. And I just yesterday I was already with this space was opening in me, and I started to having inquiry inside of me what is a sexual energy, and the first things which pops up in me are like this seductive energy, this modern culture. Like, okay, there is using energy using for manipulation. People would use sexual energy to manipulate, to seduce each other, kind of to having this games somehow to avoid actually responsibility. And I was a bit shocked by this that's the first implant of that sexual energy inside of me. It would be like the first layer which comes. And so I had this question also, what do you perceive like now? What is for you a sexual energy as a as a as a trainer, as a space holder who are holding spaces for initiation?
Hmm. Well, I think that it's good to make this straight away this distinction between what did you get implanted, as you say, and what can we perceive beyond that. And when I start my research to about sexual energy, is that if this is an energy we have been born with, very similar that when the feelings, the very so like is also like a parallel. If we are born with this energy, it cannot be a mistake of nature that we are sexual beings and that sexual energy is flowing through us. So how I have been researching about this force is mostly starting with a starting point of not like really deleting everything I have ever learned and to to notice try to notice and try to have my internal reference point of noticing too, because in modern culture it is not just the implanted of information, but a whole reference point is built within us as well. And what I have found, what is the starting point of me of this conversation, is that sexual energy is connected with the life force. Yeah, and the life force that is the mystery of life on Earth and beyond Earth. That I don't know. I cannot even imagine how life beyond Earth looks like. But this life force expresses itself through the human being and expresses itself through the feelings. The life force comes and find this way through the heart to feel. And this life force comes through the human body, through the human system, and finds its expression also in the intuition, or find the expression in the voice. And it comes through the human being as well, and find this expression in sexual energy. And it is one expression of many that all life has on planet Earth. And there is one territory that not all animals have, and it is when sexuality goes beyond the reproduction. So we have this built-in system that we can secure that the humankind reproduce itself. We can replace ourselves with the next humans, as well as all other animals and all other plants. We have a reproductive system too. So this biological part, and there is sexual energy coming also through, because the life force through the sexual energy is about life, creating life. And what for a wonderful, what a, for a wonderful energy. It is about creating life. And so here is when it starts to be interesting for me, because what is life? And for sure, it goes beyond the reproduction. It goes beyond the, uh, you know, caring for population on this earth. So what is really life about, and how does it come that life can come through, it comes through the masculine and the feminine. This is how life is created. So I think is, although the sexuality has this biological, biochemical level, it does have like a whole archetypal level that, of course, there are many, many other ancient currents have explored too, and have created a whole, wisdom systems around what can happen beyond the physiological and biochemical part of sexuality.
So you're opening this door, for moving beyond like this physical, like the physical act is one part of that, and then the life creating life is like, what is the beyond? Like, what is that energetical interaction? And is it, do you mean, or like what is there?
Yeah, what for possibilities do we have there really? And what for possibilities, it goes when you are able as a human being, for example, as a man, yeah, you are able to be in contact with your physical body, so that the instinct is not the driving force, but something else is the driving force, because the instinct in sexuality wants to get to an orgasm. This is like the instinctive part, the animal part of, yeah, the biological part of the sexuality. Everything is goes towards the man ejaculating, so an egg can be fertilized. Yeah. And so if this is one part of sexuality, and we know there are so many, many possibilities beyond that, I found fascinating to discover what could happen beyond that, and how come that life, and also that what we can create beyond reproduction, is based on the masculine and the feminine. I cannot reproduce life myself, and you cannot either.
I feel touched when you speak about the masculine and feminine, because it then evoke, like in where you speak about collaboration, and how that collaboration or like the interaction is about creating life. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, this curiosity is about what is your experience in that, like using that energy for creating life, or what?
Mm. Well, it seems to me that the so there is something that needs to change, or is something else, when we talk about going beyond the physical, or the not just the physical, it is really the driving force. Yeah, when the instinct is not the driving force, but still it is a physical interaction. It's like all bodies come in this moment, come together. Yeah. And so what can happen beyond the just the instinctive act of sexuality? And well, I think here a lot can happen. A lot can happen, and I love to not know. I love to, even though I know a few things, I love to find them myself, and I love to discover here myself. And I think that one possibility that is really open or really accessible is the possibility to become love. to become love in the collaboration with the masculine and the feminine. And in this experience of becoming love, the instinctive part, it is not really the driving force in this experience. And so, and here will be a question in our head as well. What is it then? What is it then? And what I am exploring at the moment is how the principle of eros also plays a role in here, because the human sexuality is different than other animal sexuality. Although there are also other animal kinds, they have sexuality not just for reproduction. Normally we think that all other animals have no other, they don't use sexuality also with other purposes, but they use sexuality for purposes that we also with our logic try to understand, and they are more about the bonding, and that also creating secure system to live in. But for example, I read the other day that dolphins have a very interesting and mysterious way of sexuality that no one knows why. It goes so beyond the physicality of reproduction. This is why are they approaching each other in these mysterious ways? And so this might be another force here. And this, well, what I am researching right now is how the principle of eros, which is life too, and it is, say, the doorway where the physical is connected to with love. So the materia, the matter meets the energy, the spirit, say, or the other part of human being. And it seems like this principle has the quality of connecting the energetics, connecting the energy world to the physical world. So I think there is at the moment something for me to follow.
So in the moment when the physical world is being connected with energetical, like you are speaking about these two bodies, then is it that moment when the love is happening?
Well, maybe. I mean, Eros is connected very much in the origin also of this word, and the origin of how come that we needed a word to manifest, to name this, to name that kind of energy, to name this principle, that it was also in the mythology, it was like God. Eros was a god. And so it seems like this bright principle is unifying these two aspects of being a human. That is, we are deeply connected with energy, and we are in this condensed form on Earth.
So then my interested or joy comes about what are the ways we can, as a people, deepening that research? And what have you been like discovering on edge, and then you find that this might can lead further for more discoveries?
Yeah, I think we're highly uneducated, like really highly uneducated. I think that is the biggest territory of ignorance that we have in the human culture. And one of the most also like exploded in certain way. in sense of misuse, abused, ignored. I think modern culture has a huge benefit of sexual suppression, because it is the moment of, it could be one of the ways of the deepest intimacy between men and women, an archetypal intimacy space. And I think that modern culture is has this side effect, or has created this demonizing or objectifying sexual energy, so that it is interfered, it interferes into the possibility of exploring also intimacy that goes beyond the physical realm. So I believe, for example, that, like in my experience with men, working with men, one of the biggest challenges is to go beyond the physical experience of the sexual energy. And it's because I think, so in my research, is also the man is so much more connected to the genitals. Just because many of the men, for example, every single time men pee in standing, which is a thing that many men love to do, not all of them, but many men. So every single time they're touching the genitals. And then many of the men that also don't wash themselves after, which means that all the energy from the genitals is just spread everywhere. Yeah, so this is a way how, for example, is the leaking of sexual energy happening. This is not an energetic hygiene between touching areas of your body that have another like energy entrance. Yeah, and this is something I have observed also having a boy. So how much pleasure the boys have in touching themselves, girls do it too, but boys so much more, so much more. And it's so much more like normal, say, that men touch themselves, just because also the sexual organs are outside. Yeah. So there is a lot of more possibilities to rearrange. You need to rearrange, and so there's a lot of more touch happening, and therefore also a lot of more just direct contact with this part of your body. And also what is interesting in here is that the sexual arousal of men is so much quicker. So just the men can get aroused so much quicker through the fact that the genitals are outside. So it's more friction happening, it's more touch happening, and just alone through the physicality is this challenge for men. And the arousal happens in a way that it does not happen for women. So if you see the curves of the arousal of men, for example, I like to show that, which I found is so interesting, because it's like nature challenge us with this fact that if this is, for example, a graph of the intensity of the arousal and the time. So it is really studied, it is proved, it is, that men can get to the highest level of arousal in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, can have a curve that is up to the max of arousal. But and they can have an orgasm in 5. Like this is like the standard. Yeah. So the standard, when I see the standard, is when the study was made, it was about how long does a man, need to arouse, to go to an arousal and then to ejaculate? Yeah, and so the average was 5 minutes, and then the arousal goes straight away down. So this is the curve of a man, and the curve of a woman in the same study was very different. I'm looking if I have another color. I have here. Okay, and the arousal from the woman it goes like that. And then it takes to a plateau, say the maximum of arousal a woman feels. And in this plateau, everything can happen. In this plateau, one orgasm can happen, multiple orgasm can happen, no orgasm can happen. It is not connected to an orgasm. Yeah. And also there are different types of orgasms that we can talk about. Yeah. And then this plateau can be very, very long for a woman, really depending of, this is very individual, and then goes down very slow. As it comes here, it goes down very slow. I'm missing paper. Yeah. But as you see, like the biological, the physiological and biochemical starting point of men and women are so different that the challenge is to how do we get together? Like nature wants to say man needs to be quick because the egg needs to be fertilized. So we cannot lose any time, right? It needs to be quick. But the woman, has a so other way to feel the sexual pleasure. And this is, I found this is a challenge with God, and I love it for some reason. I love it. So how do we find the way? And for the men, it's really finding the way to expand the possibility of letting energy flow. So the men, through the education, I think it's just education that is based on the physical, on the instinctive part. The man wants to get rid of energy. You create energy, you feel the energy coming, your whole body is getting more energy. And the main thing that is wanted is get rid of the energy. And this is what the man calls, or what very often is connected to ejaculation, and then is connected to disappearing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one thing that I think men can definitely train themselves to be able to not contain energy. So it's not about trying to containing the energy and try to dominate the energy, but it's about to relax and let energy circulate on a higher level that you think your body can hold. You think that your body can hold space for, because the body is programmed to ejaculate fast. Yes, so to go beyond what the program is on the physiological level, and expand yourself to move more energy within yourself, so that it's not just the sexual experience is not focused on your penis, on your sexual organs, on your genitals, is your whole body become the transmitter, or the energy organ.
So that what I'm getting, that the body, like it's like grow up the capacity for a man to let the energy flow through the whole body. I really like to really just intensify the intention, not as you were saying, like in the penis, which is very often touched, grabbed, and it's like intensify, but it's really like going through all the body, physical body, and it's like a complete whole physical body experience.
Yeah. And which is, most of the men that I have met, and that I worked also in my past life with men in the territory of sexuality, that most of the men have had alive, more or less intense, but I would say like 98% of the men have had a life of masturbating with porns. And I think there is a common denominator in men's life at the moment. And what happens with that is it's like, it's reinforcing that program that we were talking about, that is completely taken over by gremlin. But like physiological, what happens is that you, by masturbating with porns, you are pretty much reinforcing yourself that the only organ where you can feel pleasure or you can feel the life force are your genitals and nothing else. And most of the men, and what I researched in that time, were doing this in a sitting position in front of the computer mostly, yeah, which means that the whole energy of your body is bent, yeah. So the the rest of the body is not taking part. So what is your brain is registering is one little point is getting over and over stimulating, relating to the sexual experience. So the more and this is what one of the biggest thing at the moment in gremlin transformation is this, the sex addiction many men also feel, because it is so little the organ that is developed to feel the life force through you, even physically, on the physical level. And so one possibility here is to start to expand that capacity. And you can see that's why also men are such problem solvers, yeah? Because when you have a problem, more energy comes into the system straight away. You see a problem, and then you feel things about it, there is this problem. So a lot of more energy is available in that moment, and to get rid of the energy is problem solving technologies. So I think there here is a lot for men to learn about, about yourself, and how could that be possible for you to become bigger in your capacity to let energy circulate through you. And I will definitely start physically, because physically is easier to relate to.
Yes, I am loving the picture of what we are describing with like building the capacity of energy and the physical door, and it's like something like reminds me of initiations.
Mm-hmm.
Being brought in, like also being a space holder, or even like I want to say even like being here with you. This like it's a practice of holding space for something bigger than what is a man necessity. And I want to say like, man, what is the first impulse about me? And I'm assuming like you as a woman, there is a more experience of like, holding a space, or I'm coming with the assumption like being as a mothers, you are a woman, you are coming from the space, you are space holders already for a life, for the child, for the children, and there is such a give to life, this commitment to life which grows. So then you have this capacity to ongoingly flow the energy, and that's to what do you have something with that experience, or how do you experience this expanding energy, like holding as a woman, as kind of being able to hold more energy flowing through you?
Mm. Well, there is something I can really not deny, and although I also know women who cannot hold much, energy. So I'm not trying to say 100%. I'm not talking in these terms, but really tendencies, they are very clear. And for example, the tendency when a woman become a mother, how much availability of presence, how much more is in a mother than in a father many, many times. Yeah. Where the mother can go beyond limitations of the physical body, and often fathers cannot. Often fathers, they cannot go beyond the sleepiness, the beyond the tiredness, beyond the, so it's like the physical body is so much more limiting in that moment. So I think there is something of what you say. And I believe also that, in my research now, so first with the women and then with the men, I experience women want to relate to men many, many times. And it's such a frustration because of this this encounter of, women, we feel so much. There's so much going on. And men often get so scared about it, about this everythingness that is coming through, and the complexity, and all the way through, and nonlinear, and this next, and then another thing, and another thing. Yeah, this capacity of creating all the time. So, and I have seen how men are so scared because what I see is this: many men wants to hold this energy, want to like get rid of this energy. How can I make it happen that she's chill again, or she's just relaxed, or she's happy? So many men want the woman to be happy, but for them to feel relaxed, really. Yeah, for the men to feel relaxed. And so there are a few things for sure here that the woman is having this capacity of having the life force somehow, or more access to it, but I'm not so sure. I have also question marks about it. I have also question marks about it, because there is so something in when I work with couples, and I work with couples since I think 18 years or 20 years or so, and there is one thing that I observe on the topic of sexuality over and over again, is that the woman needs first this emotional intimacy, and needs this, like, feeling close to the man, having a heart connection first before physical and sexual intimacy can happen. And if this is not happening, then the woman cannot really open herself to meet the man sexually. And for the man, it's like the other way around, right? The man can meet the woman straight away sexually to get to a place of emotional connection and heart connection. And so it's so interesting that we have these different doorways. And so I'm not saying that men should only, learn how women do. I believe that there is also something for us women to learn, and to expand ourselves in other languages.
Thank you, Anna. I feel glad about the possibility that there is the growth happening in both sides. I'm getting that there is this space for men to learn to expand and let it flow energy in them, and it's also for me. And I feel very glad for this rich space ahead for you. And do you have something to, before we move to the end, something else to add to that, what is important that it sounds?
I have like plenty of stuff. That's why I can talk forever about it. But like when, what it comes to me is that I think I have the experience of men really opening their hearts with their own sexual energy. And so instead of wanting to get rid of the sexual energy through the genitals, sending the sexual energy, which is life force, yeah, to be expressed on another way, which is, for example, your intuition or your heart. And so I have been working a lot of sending the energy to the heart and letting the energy circulate in this one step first, yeah, from the genitals into the heart, from the genitals into the heart. It's like giving the energy instead of outside, yeah, giving the energy another direction that is internal into your heart first. So this is something that I found very very powerful and brings a lot of possibilities and changes and liquid states in men that are very worth doing. And also for the woman the other way around, yeah, for the woman who has the heart of the woman is more active, to send the energy down to the womb, to send the energy down to the vagina, to send the there's to really learn to expand ourselves in this, what are we not used to, the energy is not used to. But it's not used to because we are not educated. This is what I see. It is what are we used to only. And the main thing I want to say to men is stop watching porn. Like, have gremlin transformation about your porn addiction, because it does make huge scars in your energetic body too. Like meet men, meet and find ways to transform this addiction and to take care of what your gremlin is taking care of for you in that moment, so that you can go beyond that habit, which is one of the most damaging I have seen in working with men, because of the impact it has on your energetic body after. There are so many men, they have flashbacks for the rest of their lives because of the porn consumption they have had, or they don't know anymore how to touch a woman because the skin does not know anymore. It's like you delete information that is within you. There are so many things, they are so damaging about it. So it's time, I would say, to put this on the table and be radical honest about what are you doing and what do you want to do really about the sex addiction. And sex addiction happens also in the fantasy world, yeah. So not just in the porns, but also in the fantasy. So gremlin has here a big area, the foot at the door. And the other thing that I'm so interested in, like, just observing human beings, because when you observe like the human being and this incredible, like everything is connected to each other, it's such a magic, the body, it works so perfectly, all the organs work together. And then we have an organ like the clitoris, and the clitoris that has no, like, it seems not having any other purpose than pleasure, and is and has extensive nerve ends, more nerves than the penis, like double, yeah, about 8,000 nerves in the clitoris. And then you say, but why? What is the purpose of that? Yeah. So it seems that pleasure, which is a big taboo in many, many circles, it's a taboo word, discovering pleasure, but it seems like there is something, if we observe the alone how the human body is designed, there is something that creates pleasure. And there is an organ that is designed for pleasure only. It's like, what? And in the 60s, it was not even on the anatomy books. So imagine, it's so much research, it's so much, there are so many discoveries and systems and theories about sexuality. So definitely one of the areas I don't want to miss researching too, because it is for sure is not a mistake of nature.
I feel so glad for your spark you're bringing for this research. Thank you, Anna. It's, how do you call it in English? It's addictive. Thank you for that.
Very welcome. Anything else? Any questions you have, or something that you are researching you want to share?
I'm like right now, feels like at the end in the space. And I'm more inspired about what you were saying about moving the energy from like my sexual organs, my penis, up to my heart. Like, I'm practicing right now. It's like the possibility, just like what it can create. And that's where I am in the research. And one research is also, yeah, as you said, like just put all the stories away and having that. What am I like? What am I physically? What is all that and the capacity of holding? Like, how am I able to hold more capacity for the flow and not being kind of running for an orgasm, which you describe as a biological this run.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And even like, and beyond that thing, it's like what if I am kind of expanding energy, just also it's not in a sexual act, because there is the physical act is the one closest thing. But what I'm noticing, it's even connected with the space holding. When I'm holding space, there is concrete intention and capacity for me as a man to build and extend that intention and hold that intention. And that's something similar to me. Like it's also like in a physical act. Like physical act, the challenge is that the physical body wants to kind of in the necessity to come to an end. It's kind of coming like, okay, I want to come to orgasm and have it closed. And so with the holding space, I discover something similar. Like there is, oh, I want to already kind of the space to be ended. It's like ongoing. Like there's energy, and where comes the end? And it's like, and when if I'm working that end, there is like prolonging the end, even in the conversations, even in a kind of like being with a person. What is happening if I'm prolonging the end
Mm-hmm.
with
And
intention?
this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about, to go beyond the physical level, although the physical level is very often easier to relate to, yeah, because it's so straight away. Yeah, but like, and the thing will be to building up the energy. So not just, I got a little bit scared when you say elongating the end, prolonging the end, because you can prolong the end without having enough energy in the space, which it will create just, anxiety or something like that. Yeah. But the thing is, how do you create more energy? How can you let more energy circulate in this space? And on the physical level is to create this energy. So it's a sexual practice that I highly recommend every single man, is the sexual practice of of move, the point of no return. The point of no return is what is called the point that you cannot go back from an ejaculation. It's impossible for you. Yeah. And for you to build up the energy and to keep the energy and not start to sense the point of no return, and keep the energy high, and then let the energy circulate, because then you have a high amount of energy. Let it circulate, and go into your heart, let it go in actions, create spaces, hold spaces, go and this is the amount of energy that you are able to be with without getting rid of. Yeah. And the more, like what I'm saying in a physical level and you're explaining on an energetic level, I think is exact what I mean. And as a woman, I want to relate with a man who can hold spaces, bigger spaces of energy circulation. And I think the other woman wanted too. And as a participant, I wanted too. I want to have a space holder who can hold intensity as well in circulating, that the energy circulates, and we don't have to get rid of stuff just because the space holder cannot deal with the energy. Yeah, it's the same amount of expansion. Yeah.
Wow, I feel there's this expansion happening in life, whatever focus you put on, if it's sexual energy or it's like space holding, or it's like this building a love inside of us for nourishing the space and building the energy and expanding the energy.
Totally, Martin. And this is so, I just had a space holder trainer skills, and we liberated the voice, because I have noticed that the space holders who are not, they are very used to online spaces. They have not developed a voice to hold space in a bigger, with bigger participants, as with a bigger circle of participants and in a bigger venue. And so we liberated the voice too, which means that the voice is getting all this energy, the life force expressed in the voice. And many of the participants could not. Yeah, it's so much voice going on. Yeah, it is a whole liquid state about the own voice, and how am I contracting the voice to not come through. So, and it's exactly the same thing on another way of life expression in myself as a human. And that's why I love it, because it is a way of expression too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe, and yeah, as you say, like with this singing, or I'm meeting people here who are, I had a problem. I'm meeting people who are having challenge to sing. And it's already singing. It's like the voicing and playing with the voice. So I can express the voice outside, and then coming back to like who I am and how I want to use the voice, and having this playful play with the voice. So I can be more accumulating the capacity of voice and be playful with that voice. And I love singing for that edge.
Yeah, and being present, because the main question that women have for you men is, where are you? This is the question. So if you are gonna back off, if you are gonna leave because the energy is getting higher, yeah, it's the way how modern culture has trained men to be, is leave when the energy is too high. So it is, your physical body is there, but it's no presence. And women want to meet men, meet men that are present. So I hope we, I was wondering in the last lab where the same question came again, where are you men? Where are you men? In this moment, I thought, I am ready for the next question. I'm ready for the next question. But for sure, it needs to be answered first. Yeah.
I love that end, Anna. Thank you. The
Yeah,
next
very
question.
welcome. Okay,
Have a great evening there
and
in New
you
Zealand.
too. Okay, thank you,
Mm,
Martin, for inviting me. Cheers.
thank
Bye.
you. Bye.